Hello everyone, happy Tuesday and welcome to another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gersa from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am super excited to share with you today the awesome Memorable Mosaic Suite from the new annual catalog. The suite has several different components, and I'm going to show you all of them. And then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why today is extra special. So let's just have a look at the suite first. I'm going to show you the layout in the catalog. So it is found on page 119, 118, and 119. Okay, so we have some beautiful samples. And then let me get rid of my sticky note here. We have 6 different products that are included in the suite. So we have the Stampin' and Punch bundle, we have an embossing folder, we have beautiful DSP, some flower faceted gems, and some beautiful ribbon. So obviously the I can't talk today. The centerpiece of this suite is the bundle. So we have this awesome timeless label punch and the coordinating stamp set. Now this bundle is really reasonably priced. It's only $48.50 for the stamp set and the punch here in Canada, which is a great deal for some awesome products. So that is the bundle. Now let me show you the other items that are part of this suite. So we have the gorgeous DSP. So this paper, hi Kathy, how are you? Hope you're having a good day. This paper is absolutely stunning. I'm going to show you the specialty side. So this is specialty paper, and you can probably see it catching the light. Yes, you can. So this is glossy paper, okay? So one side has these beautiful glossy accents on the mosaic pattern. So we have this sort of, I don't even know how to describe that pattern. We have the roses, we have hummingbirds. I'll turn them so they're right side up. We have this beautiful, almost leaf-like pattern. We've got some dots, and then we have stripes. Okay, so that's one side of the paper. And then when I flip them over, we have even more awesomeness. Now this side of the paper is not glossy, okay? And you'll notice the colors are a little bit more muted, and they're focused on some of the softer tones in the paper. So we have another yellow circle pattern. We have more hummingbirds. This time they're all monochromatic. Excuse me, we have more roses. We have that same pattern that we had in the terracotta on the front, but this time in the mint macaron. We've got that leaf pattern in the crushed curry, and then we've got the stripe. Okay, so beautiful, beautiful paper. Oh, hi Debbie, how are you? Thank you for the birthday wishes. So this paper is just gorgeous. Glossy on one side, not glossy on the other, but awesome patterns. And I am gonna let the paper do all the talking on my projects today. But we'll get to those in a minute. So that's the DSP. Then we have some beautiful embellishments. So we have the flower faceted gems. You'll notice some of these are missing because I use them on my projects. So we have the flower faceted gems, which coordinate beautifully with the suite, but work on so many other projects as well. And then we have this lovely mint macaron textile ribbon. So this is super soft. It almost feels like raw silk. It's not, but that's kind of the texture that it has. It ties beautifully, super, super easy, holds its shape, just really, really yummy ribbon. So that's the mint macaron textile ribbon. And then finally in the suite, we have this awesome embossing folder. So this is the new Mosaic 3D folder, okay? And it adds the mosaic pattern, but it also adds a little bit of texture to the pattern. So it really does look like mosaic tile. I don't know if you can see the rough texture that is on that, but it's really, really, really cool when you emboss with it. And I'm gonna show you what it looks like. Okay, so that's the folder. And now I just want to tell you about my special birthday promotion, because today is my birthday, as Debbie so kindly mentioned. And I am giving you a gift this week because you guys are awesome and I appreciate you. So this week, any order of $50 or more using this host code, at my website, which is here, will receive a free package of these beautiful flower faceted gems, as well as a handmade thank you card featuring this suite from me. Okay, so these, as I said, these gems are awesome. You can use them on so many different projects. We're going to use them on all 3 today, but I just love them. They're so pretty. Gotta love the bling, right? All right, let's get to it. I'm going to show you our projects today. We have 3 that we're going to put together, and as you can see, I wasn't kidding when I said I was going to let the DSP do all the talking on these ones. Now, there's a little bit more stamping on this one, but these 2, it's really only the sentiment that we're going to stamp. Everything else is the DSP. So let's get to it. We're going to start with this really simple card, and I'm going to pull over my goodies here, and I need to grab my inks. Okay. So this is the one we're going to start with, as I mentioned. And for this one, I used that beautiful embossing folder. So this is that new Mosaic 3D embossing folder. So this is just on regular Whisper White cardstock. Okay, I have die cut the label out of the middle of it and then just ran it through. And I'm not sure if you can see that on the camera, but it's got some lovely texture in addition to the pattern. So it's a really great embossing folder. So we're going to start with that. And then I've cut a piece of the DSP. This is that cool circular pattern. And I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive along the top and bottom edges of that. And then I'm going to center it behind my die cut label and just stick it down. Okay, so that's forming my card front. Really, really simple. Okay, next up is I'm going to take and glue down, this is a strip of that border paper. So do you remember that paper that had all those different border patterns? This is it here. Okay, so I've gone and cut out one of these strips and has sort of a vine pattern. And I'm using that in place of ribbon. So I'm still getting the effect of ribbon, but I'm not using ribbon, I'm just using paper. So we're gonna go ahead and stick that guy down. And I'm gonna put it, if I don't stick it to my fingers, I'm gonna put it right about, where did I put it? Yeah, right about here. And I'm gonna use my grid lines to get it straight, because trying to eyeball it, not gonna happen. There we go. Okay, now I've cut this just a teensy bit longer, so we're just going to trim off that excess bit there. And then we're going to go ahead and glue this onto our card base. So this card base is 5.5 by 8.5. It's scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that in half along my score line. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. Now, I forgot to mention the dimensions of my Whisper White piece before I die cut it and embossed it. It started out as a piece of Whisper White cardstock that was 4 by 5 1/4 inches. Okay, just in case you are wanting to remake this, I will put all the measurements in the description afterwards. Okay, so there is my card front. Next, I'm going to go ahead and glue this label on. So this is a label cut with the stitched nested labels dies, and then I have run it through. This is Terracotta Tile cardstock. I don't know if I mentioned that. I've run it through my Big Shot using the subtle embossing folder. So it's got just a little bit of texture too. And I realize on my sample, I put this on first and then my DSP, but actually kind of works both ways. So we're going to do it this way, just so you can see the difference. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment. So this is the Sending All Happy Wishes Your Way sentiment. And I'm going to go for an ombre look because I really like that look. And I wanted to bring in both the Blushing Bride and the Terracotta Tile, which is in that DSP. So I've gone ahead and inked my stamp using the Blushing Bride. And then I'm going to take my dauber and the Terracotta Tile, and I'm just going to ink around the edges using the Terracotta Tile. Okay, so the middle is going to stay Blushing Bride and the edges will be the Terracotta. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that, and that's what you get. You get a really cool ombre look. So now I'm going to go ahead and punch this out. Just get my ink pads out of the way here. Now, here is a little tip for punching with this, or for coordinating this. So when you look at this, you're going to see this stamped image is actually just a teensy bit larger than the punches out. So if you try to get this perfectly lined up with the edges, you're not going to get it even. So what you want to look at is that white, see this white border that goes all the way around? You're going to line that up. So I'm looking at that and I'm centering that in my window. And you'll see when I punch it out, see how I have that terracotta border all the way around? Okay. That's just a little tip. The first couple times I tried to punch with this, I got really frustrated because it wasn't centering it the way I wanted it to. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and glue this on. We're going to pop it up with some dimensionals. Who else is watching today? I see there are more people watching. Who's out there? Let me know you're here. Give me a hello so I can say hi back. So we're going to go ahead and pop this onto the front of our card like that. Okay, and then this is one of the hummingbirds. This is a glossy hummingbird that I've just fussy cut from that paper. Just so you know, these are super easy to fussy cut because all of the images have this yellow, like it's supposed to be the grout in the tile border, which makes it really, really easy to cut. So you do not have to be an expert fussy cutter to get good results with this. So we're going to throw a couple of dimensionals on here. I'm going to put a mini there and a mini on his tail just so he stays popped up. And we'll get rid of our backings. Oh, hi Judy. How are you? How's the weather in Wawa? I hope it's nice. It's beautiful here today. Started out rainy, but it has turned out to be a beautiful day. So I'm going to put my little hummingbird on right about here. Okay, so he is just flying, sending happy wishes your way. And then I'm going to take one of these beautiful flower faceted gems. And I'm just going to pop it onto the bottom of my label like that for a little bit of bling. Now, we're not quite done. I'm not sure if you can tell on my sample. I don't know if it shows on the camera, but I wanted to add a little bit of sparkle to my background. So what I've done is I took my Wink of Stella and I just added a little hint of wink to just some random tiles. I wasn't trying to create a pattern. Sometimes I did them right beside each other. Sometimes I skipped a row. And I found that that just added just that subtle hint of sparkle, which probably doesn't show up all that well on the camera. But trust me when I say it just adds a little something something. Because let's be honest, bling is a thing and we all love it, right? What's not to love? So we're just going to add a couple more little bits here. There we go. Okay, and that just adds the subtlest little bit of shimmer to that and just kind of makes that card really pop. Okay, all right. Hi, Paula. How are you? So that's that. Really, really simple, quick, easy. And the DSP, as I said, does all the work on that one. Okay, all right. Card number 1 done. Let's move on to card number 2. Gonna get some things out of the way here. Card number 2 is this beauty. Okay, I love, love, love these roses. I just, can't get enough of them. And again, on this card, all the work is done by the DSP. We're going to do a little bit of stamping on our background, but really, let's be honest, it's that beautiful DSP that's going to do all the heavy lifting. Hello, Martine. How are you today? All right, so I'm starting with a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of Blushing Bride cardstock. And I'm going to take my Blushing Bride ink and 2 of these little tile images from the stamp set. So we have this one that's a circular one and then one that's sort of a little flower. And I'm just going to randomly stamp a few of these images across sort of the lower corner of my card front. I'm not worrying about stamping up here because I'm going to put DSP up here. It's going to get covered anyway, so I'm not going to worry about filling in that space. But I'm going to go ahead and add a few little flowers. Now, here's just a tip. Whenever you are trying to create sort of a random background effect, you want to make sure that you are going right off the edge of your cardstock. Okay, you don't want to keep all of your images on the paper. What happens is if you keep them all on your paper, it doesn't flow and it doesn't look like, it doesn't give a sense of motion. By having those images extend off the edges, you're going to create a sense of motion on your project, and it's going to be much more visually pleasing. Okay. All right. Oh, thank you for the happy birthday wishes. Who's that from? Hi, Paula. Thank you for the wishes. I appreciate that. Okay, so there is my super simple stamped background. Now I have some of this really cool mosaic pattern DSP. And so what I've done is I just followed the pattern in the DSP, and I just noticed I've got some white edges showing. So I'm going to just trim that a little bit. And I've just sort of cut out along to create that sort of circular pattern. And so what I've done, what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and glue that onto my stamped panel here to create a layered background effect. So I'm using just a little bit of Tombow here, and the Tombow again is so that I have some wiggle time so I can get it exactly the way I want it. And I'm not putting this right flush with the edges, okay? I'm leaving about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch border on the top and the side, okay? Just like that. So far, so good. All right, next I'm going to adhere some of these beautiful roses. So these again are fussy cut from that DSP. Really easy. I did them all ahead of time just in the interest of time because my hubby and I are going out for dinner for my birthday and I got to get out of here as soon as I'm done. Thanks for the birthday wishes, Martine. So I've gone ahead and fussy cut these, but again, they are super easy to cut because of that white border that goes all the way around, okay? It's very, very forgiving. So what I'm going to do is just throw some dimensionals on the back of my roses here. And I'm going to adhere them to my card front. So I'm going to put one kind of up like this. Okay, and then I have another one that is going to kind of go down here. And then I cut a couple of extra leaves to add to this. Now you'll see this is actually cut from a corner of the DSP. So don't waste your DSP. This has a straight edge, but you know what? I can totally hide that by sticking another leaf right over top. Do you see that? So even those little images that seem like throwaways can totally be used to create your little bouquet here. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue those leaves to the back of that flower. So I'm just using glue dots to assemble this, and I'm gonna just pop that on there. Look at that cute little bumblebee. Gotta love it. Okay, and I'm gonna pop that on with some dimensionals as well. Oh, that's okay, Martine. I don't expect you to know it's my birthday. That's totally all right. Half the time my family doesn't remember it's my birthday, so that's okay. All right, so we're going to add just a couple, we're going to pop this one on as well. Okay, so now I have my nice little bouquet of roses here. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment. Now this sentiment is not from the Mosaic stamp set. This is from the painted glass set. Okay, and I just love this sort of gothic looking font with the mosaic. So I thought it would be fun to use it on this project. So here I have a 3/4 inch by probably 4 inch strip of Whisper White cardstock. And I'm going to go ahead and ink up my stamp with the Terracotta Tile. And I'm going to stamp that sentiment right in the middle of that cardstock and try to get it straight. It's hard to do. Tip for using your punch in a little bit of an unconventional way. So this is that, what's it called? What's that punch called? I can't remember. Timeless label, maybe? No. I can't remember. Somebody can help me out. Thanks, Martine. I'm glad you like that. So this is my strip. It's 3/4 inches wide, and I'm going to pop it into my punch, and I want to just get rounded edges on my sentiment strip. So what I'm going to do is just pop it into my punch and center it on that label and punch, and then I get my nice rounded edges. See how easy that is? It's a great way to add just a little extra or get a little extra mileage from your punches because you can do more with them than just punch the shape that they were intended for. Okay, so there is my little sentiment banner. Okay, now we're going to add just a little bit of sparkle with some metallic thread. Now again, I know some of you hate this stuff. I know people that come to my classes and just hand it right back to me because they don't want to deal with it. But I'm determined to make you love this stuff because it adds just a really pretty bit of shimmer. So what you do to use this, you'll notice that I've already gone ahead and put some fast fuse. You can use snail, whatever. You need some kind of adhesive tape on the back of your whatever piece you're going to put the thread on. And then I'm going to pinch the end between my two fingers, and I'm winding the thread several times, probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 times around my 3 fingers. Okay, I'm going to snip that. Then I'm going to take and slide these loops off. Timeless label. Thank you, Deb. I knew somebody would remember. Thanks for the birthday wishes, sister. Wish you were here celebrating with me. All right, so now I've got my loops. I just slid them off my fingers, and I'm gonna go ahead and stick them on to that sentiment label, okay? Now that they're stuck down, I can play around and arrange my loops in a way that I like and hide my ends, okay? And you don't have to worry about everything flying everywhere, okay? By doing that, it just gives you some control, okay? All right, so now I'm gonna take and add a couple of dimensionals. Where did I put my dimensionals? They're hiding, there they are. On the back of my label, and peel off my backings, and we're just going to pop this right onto our card front, right about there. Okay, and then we're ready to glue that onto our card base. So this card base is 4 1/4 by 11 inches. So this is thick whisper white. I've scored it in the middle at 5 1/2. And I'm going to fold it in half along my score line. We're going to get to celebrate my birthday in a week or two on that boat in Greece, Michelle. I cannot wait. You can buy me you still owe me a couple bottles of wine, as I recall. I think there was a certain bet that was made that somebody lost. Oh, look at that. I got ink on there. We'll just flip that over. There we go. You didn't see that, right? Nope, nobody saw anything. All right, we're going to just pop that onto the front. And there is our almost finished card. We need to add our little gem. And the cool thing about these gems is depending on what you put them with, let me just pull back this other card. These are both the same color of gem, okay? So if I put it with the terracotta, it looks terracotta. When I put it with the Blushing Bride, it looks Blushing Bride. How cool is that? It's like magical. They're chameleon gems. Gotta love it. All right, so that is project number 2. Really quick and simple. DSP does all the work on that one. All right, now we are actually going to do a little bit of stamping for our final card. Well, a little bit more stamping. Work a little harder on this one. I'm just going to get my thread out of the way because it is flying away. And this stuff, if you let it get out of control, it will take over. There is no reining it in once you let it get out of control. It's very difficult to untangle. So keep it on the spool and keep the end taped down, and then it won't fly away on you. All right, last card is this one. Okay, this tree image I absolutely love, and it's really easy to line up. It looks tricky, but it's really, really not. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Pull in all my goodies here. All right, so we're going to start actually by stamping that tree. I have a piece of very vanilla cardstock that I have die cut using the stitch nested labels. I really feel like this label shape works really, really well. It is a real jewel. Oh, I'm glad you remember that you owe me a bet. You have to pay me my winnings. I can't wait. Okay. As I was saying, got to stop talking about wine and cruises because that's a week and a half away. All right, so very vanilla cardstock. I really feel like this stitch nested label die shape works well with this suite. Just the shape of it works well with the tile. Okay, so I'm going to stamp my tree. I'm going to start actually by stamping the leaves of the tree. It's easier to do the leaves first and then add your trunk rather than trying to do the trunk first. Okay, so I'm inking up the leaves of my tree with garden green ink, and I'm going to stamp once right about there. Okay, then I'm going to re-ink, stamp off, and I'm going to just offset just ever so slightly. And that's going to make my tree look a lot fuller. Isn't that cool? It looks like a willow tree. I love it. Okay, now we are going to take, it is a real jewel, Martine. Yes, it absolutely is. We are going to take our trunk and ink it up with the soft suede. And I'm just going to go ahead and just slap that down there. And honestly, it does not matter if the whole trunk is contacting the leaves. It's just, it's an effect, right? This is sort of an abstract looking tree. And I really, really love the look of it. I think it's just beautiful. All right, so there is my tree stamped and done. Now we're ready to do some assembly here. So let's pull out all our little bits and bobs. There we go. Okay, so I'm starting my background with another piece of that beautiful leaf print DSP. This is the glossy side. It's cut to 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and glue my label with my tree onto it towards the top, okay? I need a little extra space for the border that I'm gonna add in a minute. So we're gonna just throw a little fast fuse on there. And we're gonna pop this on right about there. Okay. Now I've cut another piece of border. So this is again from that that paper. This is the non-glossy side. So this is the back side of the paper we used on the previous, actually both of the first 2 cards. So this is the background, or the back side. It's not glossy, but that's okay because I'm going to add some of that shimmery, beautiful ribbon, and that's going to give us our shine on this card. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this on. And I'm going to glue it a little bit below that label so that I have room for that beautiful ribbon. Okay, so there's that. Then we're going to take some of this beautiful textile ribbon and we're going to add that just above the border strip, just to add some softness and some texture and some shimmer, because this has some beautiful shimmer and shine to it. Snip the end of that. I actually used this on one of my swaps that I just sent out over the weekend. So I'm almost out of this ribbon. Okay, so there is my ribbon layer. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue this to my card base. So here I have another 4 1/4 by 11 inch card base. It is scored in the middle at 5 1/2. I'm going to fold it in half along my score line. I'm going to add a little bit of fast fuse to the back of my panel. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue that onto my card base. Just like that. Okay. Really simple. Just make sure my ribbon hasn't shifted. Next, I have a piece of, this is the hummingbird pattern, and look at that. I punched it almost perfectly. I didn't intend to do that. I was actually looking at this side when I punched, but look at that little hummingbird. So I have punched a piece of that mosaic, the green mosaic pattern, and that's going to form sort of my backdrop for my label. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that on with a couple of dimensionals. Come here. We're just going to pop that on right about there. Okay. And now we're going to stamp and punch our label. So this particular image is kind of a cool one. If you look at this, you would think, oh, well, that's not meant to fit the punch. You like watching me work. Thank you, Martine. You should hang out here because I'm working all the time these days, getting ready for this trip. So you wouldn't, when you first look at this, think that this is designed to work with the punch, right? The punch shape is quite narrow, right? So you wouldn't think that that's going to fit, but it actually is. If you look at this, these little sort of flourishes at the top and bottom fit in those sort of the bumps on the punch. So it is intended to be punched. And then this extra piece is stamped and can be popped up for some extra emphasis. And that's what I've done. I'm going to show you how I did that. So first thing I'm going to do is stamp this image in mint macaron ink. And I'm going to stamp it near an edge because I need to be able to reach it with my punch. And then I'm going to take my punch and line it up. So I'm not focusing on the word kindness at all. All I'm focusing on are those little flourishes at the top and bottom, making sure that they're centered and straight. I'm going to pop that out. Okay, just like that. Then, let's get my punch out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and glue this onto my circle. Now this is punched with the 2 1/4 inch circle punch, okay? And then this fits just perfectly on there. So that's why I mentioned that, 2 1/4 inches. And if you don't have that circle punch, you need to get it because it is one that I use a lot. All right, so we're going to pop this guy on here. Try and get him straight. Oh, looks pretty good. Okay, and then what I did this ahead of time, again, in the interest of time. You don't need to sit and watch me fussy cut. I stamped the whole image again in garden green ink. Okay, so that is the dark green that we used on the tree, and it's in the background, DSP. And then I fussy cut it out. Okay, and then I'm going to take some mini dimensionals and pop them onto my fussy cut word, and they will fit. You just have to be careful when you're putting them on and choose spots strategically so that the minis fit. And then I'm going to line it up with the partial stamped kindness on my label. And there you go. You get a 3D kind of effect. Isn't that cool? Yeah, I like it. Hi, Laura. How are you? Hope you're having a good day. All right, so that's really it. All I did, again, is added another one of these beautiful flower faceted gems. Whoops, that guy is sticking. There we go. And I just popped him on kind of right here, just like that, for a little bit of shimmer and shine. Super easy. Nothing terribly difficult. Now I'm just going to show you what I did on the inside of this because I kind of like it. I added a very vanilla layer and stamped this thank you is also in the stamp set, and then that same little flower that I used on the previous card, and then I used a little bit more of that border piece that I used on the front, okay, just to add a little bit of an accent on the inside of the card. But that's it. Really simple projects, but the DSP in this suite does all the work for you. Okay, so let me bring in our projects again. So we have 1, 2, come here, and 3. And again, I want to mention my birthday special for this week. So you've seen me use these flower faceted gems on all the projects, and I am giving these away this week. So you'll get a full pack, not one that I've used. I don't have a new pack at the moment. So if you place a $50 order on my website using this toast code between now and midnight on Sunday, so by the end of June, I will send you a free pack of the flower faceted gems, as well as a handmade thank you card that features this suite. Okay, so I so appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by and spending part of your day with me. I hope you enjoyed these projects, and I will be back next week for another Tuesday Live at 5. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a great week. Bye-bye.